Hello everybody, wherever you might be. As you well and truly know, this is NBL Overtime. You probably also know hashtag NBL Overtime to get involved at NBL. There's the socials. Signings of NBA stars and NBL champions is only about item 6 on today's show. That's how big the weekend was. Upfront's on fire. Homicide likewise. How you doing, brother?
Mitch Creek.
Oh, here we go. Hold that.
Keanu Pinder.
Hey, hold that energy, fam. Hold that energy. We'll get there. Liam, Santa Maria, of course. About a million things you got on your resume. How's it all going? Hello to you.
It's going well. Hello to you. Good to be back here. Now, before we get on with the show.
Go on.
I know we've got a lot to get into, but it's Christmas. And I'm Santa.
Yes.
And it is tradition on this show.
Come on, Liam.
You know, it is
what
tradition.
You got for us?
Oh, hang on.
All right, fellas. We've got to
Here
bring
we
the
go.
Christmas cheer.
Here
all right?
we go. Tell
All
you
right.
what.
Now, Corey, this is for you.
Oh, man.
Because your influence goes way beyond basketball. Merry
here we
Christmas, mate.
Thank you so much,
Merry
Liam.
Christmas. That is
Thank
for
you,
you.
man.
And
I
Cam, this is
appreciate
for
it.
you because
book.
you exude greatness. Merry Christmas to you, Cam.
I'm already a little
Open
nervous
up,
about
baby,
this.
open
Open
up.
straight up.
Open up, show
Oh,
the
let's
feet.
see
All right,
what
here
we
we
got
go. Here
here.
we
It's
go.
Christmas. We
Of
got
course.
to enjoy
Let's see
it.
what
I
we got
famously
here.
got a chain net a couple of years ago, and I'll be
Yeah.
using them Friday night in the open air game. So looking forward to that.
Oh, man.
Absolute. The GOAT, Lauren Jackson.
Man, thank you, man. This
Beautiful.
guy,
Perfect.
give this man a statue in this country.
There we go.
Man,
Agreed.
thank you, Liam. This
Merry
is
Christmas.
thoughtful of you as always.
Absolutely.
Shout out
Thank
Buddy
you.
Noj, Lauren Jackson.
Shout out to Buddy Noj, Lauren
Superstars.
Jackson.
Of course, my present to you,
Patty
Liam, is
Mills.
that you're on season number 5 of NBL Overtime. We haven't sacked you
I
yet.
appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Thank you. So much to get into. I'll get rid of the rapping. Normally we roll in here and we have a very deep conversation about where the show should start. Didn't have to happen this week because there's only one place to start. One of the best games, not just of NBL 23, but really of the whole entirety of this wonderful organisation. 3,000 people jammed into regional Victoria to watch a game that you had to see to believe. If you haven't seen it, where the hell have you been? And secondly, watch it. Get to it right now. What a game it was. I'll tell you what, you called it. Take it away, Liam Santa Maria.
It was an incredible game. How about the people at Gippsland? They got an absolute cracker. They packed out the stadium. And these two teams, man, it was a war of attrition. Injuries, foul outs. There were very few players left in the end. And 2 unbelievable performances. That man, Mitch Creek, the guy who hit the layup in the previous possession and who sticks this jumper right there, Derek Walton Jr., a 40-piece each. Big shot after big shot, Corey. A classic NBL encounter between 2 championship contenders.
Man, I had to watch this game twice. I'm gonna set the tone like this.
Go ahead.
I received a DM, and it said, "Don't you ever put my name and second team All-NBL in the same sentence." And I can tell you this right now, man. 46-10. Wolf Creek, man. Like, that inspired me to get up yesterday and make several videos.
Yeah, no, we saw.
Yo!
We saw. You could have waited for this show.
I couldn't do it.
Wait, hey, when you can't wait.
Yeah,
Oh my
that's
God. It inspired me. I was in the car, I had to go do voiceover work, right? So I'm like, I gotta talk about this. It was that inspirational, the performance. I was thirsty to see he against you know who, like everybody else, right? Right? Xavier Cooks, unfortunately, he got injured, right? Right? And that was the matchup I want to see because when you have superstars leading their teams and they're both playing great basketball, somebody's going to be MVP. Their names are in the conversations, right? The only way you could really tell is see that head-to-head matchup to really who gets the edge because it's going to be close. Yes, Xavier Cooks got injured, but I cannot ignore none of us, nor will I. 46-10 and the win, can't ignore it.
Nope.
On top of that, I know we're going to get to Keanu Pinder.
Yes, we are.
But what he's done I got a chart
Hold
right
that
here.
thought. Don't go too deep about that just yet.
All
Give
right,
us a couple
all
of
right.
minutes.
What
Let's
about
stay on
Walton
this
Jr.?
game.
Derek Walton Jr. That was a clinic. 45, 10 dimes, 2 turnovers. He was surgical with it. Whatever he wanted, he was giving it. It was just beautiful to see how he was going about it. Last week I was talking about to you guys, I said the second half of the year, he now understands down the stretch of games, he's going to have to take over.
Yeah.
And with people fouling out, big name players, obviously his teammates getting injured. He took over. It was beautiful to watch. I know that was an incredible game to call.
Unbelievable game to call. And there is a lot to unpack from that game, but can we right now give a shout out to Owen Foxwell?
Oh my God!
Because that
young
man,
fella steps up big time, taking charges, hitting shots.
I know, incredible. Listen, I went and he's from a very talented family. His two younger brothers are coming up through the ranks as well, who are very nice as well. But I loved the quote from Mitch Creek because he said, look, if we didn't have Owen Foxwell on our squad, that guy would have gone for 70. Because, yeah, it's funny to shout out a guy who defended a dude who had 45.
Yeah.
But he did do enough. In the stretch of that game at both ends of the court to help his team get the win. And for a young fella as a DP, coming in and having that kind of influence is really impressive.
Yeah,
you know what I like about him the most? And that's a big opportunity on Sunday. But remember when he sort of came to prominence in our throwdown?
Yes.
In the throwdown.
So the actual moments don't concern the younger generation as much as it might have 30, 40 years ago. I think social media and the belief they get and the confidence they get from likes and all the rest of it helps them a little bit. But his ability to roll on in when given the nod from Simon Mitchell, regardless of the cauldron he is in, be it a huge game like that against the reigning champions or the bitter rivals, that's as impressive as almost anything he does. Defensively, he's a freak. Adam Gibson gave him some huge love yesterday on NBL today. But there's a million different stories to come out of this, right?
Shout out to Trey Kell. Hit the 3 free throws after that. Focus. Clutch.
Real clutch.
After a bad twisted ankle coming off that shot where he got fouled and then had to go to the free throw line and hit the 3. Clutch.
You know, the big thing to come out of it right now is how these teams then get themselves up for what is a pretty critical time, right? So we've got South East Melbourne Phoenix due to the schedule changes having to go to Brisbane and then going to Adelaide on Christmas Eve. Brisbane aren't in great form. Adelaide are finding form. We're going to get to them in a moment and possibly Ian Clark. And Sydney have got Christmas night against Melbourne United. Now, I want to go to you first on Xavier Cooks. It was sort of described as ankle soreness.
Yeah.
So to me, it sounds more precautionary than anything. Am I reading it the right way?
Yeah, he brought the issue into the game and then tried to get going in that first quarter and it wasn't really working. So they sat him out, nearly won the game even without him, which is really impressive from the Kings. I think he'll be fine.
Okay, so South East Melbourne Phoenix have bigger concerns.
Man, they are decimated.
Yeah.
Brokoff's going to be out a bit. Brown's going to be out a bit. Joe Chi is
gone.
What's he?
It's the plane.
He's on the plane. Okay.
He's on the plane.
This is a legit question about
May or
Joe
may not
Chi.
come back.
Just quickly, legitimately, and it's way more important than basketball.
Yeah.
Has he qualified for finals yet?
Yeah.
How many games has he played?
Games.
He's played more than
He played 9.
He's played 9, has he? Okay, yep.
So, yeah, I mean, we shout out to Joe Chi and his family, and I hope everything goes okay. But they're really heavily undermanned. Played unbelievable amount of minutes, some of those guys. Mitch Creek in particular, my goodness. And now they've got to front up and play Brisbane. Now, if you're going to front up and play anybody right now,
That's who you'd want to play.
it's Brisbane. But look at the toll on Mitch Creek. Thursday, he played 38 of the 40 minutes. Sunday, he played 47 of the 50 minutes. I love it. He's the fittest guy in the league.
Yeah.
He's not going to have any problem. But he is playing an enormous amount of minutes right now.
And here's what needs to happen, as we all would agree. Give him like 2-3 days off because there's going to be a whole nother battle down in Queensland. Yeah, they're wounded, but it's not just going to, you're just not going to walk in there and they're not just going to give you the W. You still got to play, and he's going to be a major factor in that game. So you give a guy like that, you know, I used to do this when I played it.
I hear you. No, we know,
I'm
mate.
telling you, man, these Gleason beefs. You know, I'm like, oh, listen, I just played a heavy load.
Yeah.
Right.
My usage rate is high.
Yep.
If we don't play till Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll be in. I'm physically in practice.
I'll be in.
But I'll be in practice Wednesday
Hang
afternoon.
on a second. Now, those arguments would have gone a little more your way had you not been photographed at every Townsville nightclub in those 3 days you were putting your feet up.
Nah, but I'm just saying, like, when your usage rate is high,
Right.
And you're undermanned right now, he got to rest.
And Gleason said, but hold on, Riley's out there practicing?
I would practice, but I just wouldn't be going hard
Fair
because
enough.
I know, fam, you want me now or you want me Saturday?
But you know what?
Take your pick.
This
Pick
is
one.
This is what the players want, right? The players want to play more and practice less.
Creek is loving it.
Absolutely. Well, as you said, if he's not the fittest guy in the league, he's in the top 2 or 3.
He's the top
Nah,
one.
he's a fit.
Are you serious?
He's
He's the top
not,
one.
who's close?
No one.
No one.
Oh, all right. Okay. I was just trying to include some other players who might have some
Don't
fitness.
even bother with
All right,
that
well, he's the fittest man in the league. In 35, 36, 37 minutes, twice a week shouldn't be an issue.
Not an issue.
And he'll go to Brisbane and do his thing. All right. Away you go. Because I want you to bring that energy you brought on your Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn and TikTok and whatever social media you're rolling with. Hit me. What do you like?
Here's what the reality is, right? Injured or not, that ain't got nothing to do with me, right? This is how I'm looking at the whole situation. Matchups, head-to-head, and what was the result? Let's go back about 5 weeks ago, 4 or 5 weeks ago. Tropical North. Sydney versus Cairns. Keanu Pinda, 30-13. He's played in his last 5 games, Keanu Pinda, 30-13, W versus Sydney. Lost to Adelaide, 12-8. Win versus Illa, 18-14 and 6 assists. Win versus Brisbane, 12-15. Win versus Tasmania, none bigger than that, 34.7. Averaging in those 5, 21 and 11.5. Team is in third. Steady the ship when it looked shaky. Over to Mitch Creek. Last 5 games, 4-1. Total, he's averaging 27-8. Okay? They beat Sydney. Yes, he was injured. He sat down. He meaning X-Man, right? However, now let's go to his last, I'm going to say 5 games, including Southeast Melbourne. Then I'm going to give you those averages. Then I'm going to take that game out because he didn't play, but 7 minutes. Then we're going to go to the 4 games, and I'm going to tell you the numbers.
Hold on, I need to write some of this down.
Please do.
Okay.
So the last 5 games for Pinda, he's averaging 21-11, and he's 4-1. Creek, 27-8, and he's 4-1.
Right.
Xavier, 3-2. In the 5 games, he's averaging 13-6. Now it's unfair.
Go to the 4.
It's unfair to say 5 games because we know he was injured. 4 games, 16-8.
All right.
Is he first team? They're in second place right now.
Hold that thought for a split second because...
Is he first team? How do you not? I can't.
Hang on.
It's a disservice for the 45 reasons why Mitch Creek is first team right
46.
now. 46.
Now, I've made it a little bit easier.
And Pinda.
You go back.
You can't deny them.
You know what? You're using a calculator. You're doing pen, all the rest of it. So this is one I prepared earlier that involves the whole season.
Okay.
This is where we sit right now. Now, the conundrum of which we sit is that the All-NBL first team has 3 outside players and 2 inside. Hence why this is an interesting conversation. That's on the season, of course. So Pinda, better stats than Xavier Cook's right there. Xavier Cook's been a part of the best team, of course. Finals MVP last year.
They're in second place right now, as of today.
Right.
This round or
And
whatever.
the reality is, Creek and Cooks play almost exclusively power forward.
Yeah.
And Keanu Pinda plays exclusively centre. That's why these guys are categorised as inside players.
Thank you, because Twitter went crazy. How you don't have this? It's categorized.
It's 3 into 2.
Thank you very much.
That's exactly
Should that be the way we do it moving forward?
No,
That's
it's
another question.
Right,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
as if what it is today, the criteria, Pinda's a 5, and the other 2 are 4s.
Yep.
And you see the numbers.
So you've got Pinda
Those
and
numbers.
Creek. Cooks right now is
Cooks is second
All-NBL
team.
second team. What do you got?
I have the same. Now, I picked Xavier Cooks for MVP.
We did.
I still think he'll probably be that when all is said and done. Which means I think this might change over time. But
Every week, this thing is changed. My list is week to week. You play different, I'll talk different, and it changes.
and it's week to week, and you're looking at recent games, but we're also aware of what's happened over the whole course of the season. We're
Right.
having this ongoing conversation. That's the beauty of it.
Right.
But if I had to cast a vote right now, it would be Creek and Pinda. We'll see what happens from here.
And I'm telling y'all now, I'm gonna look down the camera. I'm
Hit me.
gonna look down the camera. Yo, I'm telling you, there's some people on Twitter. I'm gonna see you one day, and I want you to keep that energy in my face. I'm telling you right now. I want you to keep that energy in my face. I'm going to see you one day. Watch what you say. I'm telling you right now.
I hear that.
Now,
All right.
those 3, the MVP certainly comes from one of those 3 players, right? We agree?
100%.
Okay, now I don't. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yep.
At the moment.
I don't. You mentioned it, and the NBA has a much worse issue than the NBL does because they're way locked in when it comes to position. You mentioned yesterday WNBA are positionless.
Yes.
So there's different leagues around the world that have different ways about this. I don't think this should be changed this year specifically because the three inside dudes are the ones who are the three best players in the league right now. But I think the NBL going forward should look at. This is what happens when you vote. I do not vote, so I don't know how it all works out exactly, but 2 outside, 2 inside, and a wild card. Because if we have players missing out, I have not had an NBL contract. I know it stuns a lot of people, but I haven't yet. But there might be performance and incentives in contracts that add a little bit of finances to someone's back pocket within a situation where you essentially miss an All-NBL first team because this criteria does not exist. So 2 inside, 2 outside, and the people who vote get to say a wild card. It could be an inside and outside person. I don't think it should change this year because of it
is
be
what
unfair.
it is right now.
But in the off-season, the NBL should look at it.
So that's interesting. I think let's go positionless. I think, hey, cast your vote for the 5 best players. And for me, they all start. The All-NBL first team right now would be Creek, Cooks, Pinder, Cotton, Derek Walton Jr. and Doyle would be knocking on that door.
Liam, man. There's so many, like that second team.
Whew, that's a whole nother thing.
Yo, you still got Franks, right? Pardon.
Beg ya.
Williams, right? What's Pardon teammate, the two-way player we love?
Brantley.
They all can't make it.
And
This is, do you think we need to go like all imports, all
no.
And
Come
it just
on.
is what it is.
But this is how
is
deep the league is,
crazy.
right? Just to talk about the craziness of New Zealand as well. Of course, thinking of
Barry
COVID
Brown
and all the rest of
Jr..
it. How about this? They get COVID, they can't play, they go back to the top of the ladder. They've had 2 years outside the country, and all of a sudden they're back on top because of, well, not because of COVID, because of Sydney losing. Anyway,
Hope they're all okay.
yeah, that's the main thing. Hashtag NBL Overtime to get involved. It is. Hey, you bring that energy, fam.
This is nuts,
At
man.
NBL, we're going to get to a break because Ian Clark's back in the league. We'll break it down next.
Good luck stopping that. Great pass. 2 more for Clark. There's Clark. Clark with another one. This is incredible. Clark fires away. He's taken over. To Clark. Splash. Ian Clark owning the 4th quarter.
Last year's grand final series, that man promoted into the starting lineup with the injury to Jalen Adams, and he went bang. And he's gone bang, bang. He is back in the league, the Adelaide 36ers. I chuckle because for 5 days they were trying to pretend like, oh, we want an Ian Clark type, even though he was pretty much almost on the plane. Either way, he's here officially. He's bought the game ball from the grand final series. I don't think he's let it go yet. He took it partying, but he's back. And the man who started it, Liam Sandamaria, you said they need an Ian Clark type. Traditionally, that means he knew something was afoot.
Nah.
Yeah, okay. Either way, you started this conversation, so you get first right.
He was
it's
the
huge.
perfect guy to bring in. Those highlights kind of got me a little bit more amped about him coming in. I haven't been watching Vision of Ian Clark, but to see what again and be reminded of what he did last season, he is the perfect signing. Now, they needed 2 things. Couldn't get them both in the one guy. They needed Ian Clark. They needed a scorer and a great character dude off the bench, and they needed a big, solid dude to bolster their defense in the front court. Still don't have that, but in the meantime, this is the perfect signing, and I can't wait to have him back in the league.
Shooter, defender, winner, experience, and execution in the half court. Mental toughness he's going to provide. He's a passer. He's a creator. He's a leader. They're going to listen to him, right? He's going to rally the troops up. We need to lock up. He's going to challenge them all, and they're all going to follow because he's a winner. And he's definitely coming back to bust Sydney on their asses for not signing him back. You better believe that. So you know what all that means? See you later, Perth. That's going to lock in Adelaide in that 6.
There's a yes or no question around that in a moment. They've actually got, and all those things you speak of is 100% on the money. They've got the actual 100% opposite guy to Craig Randall, the guy who's going to fit in and play the role of which CJ Bruton wants him to play, right?
From a personality
From a
perspective,
personality
but
point
the
of view.
talent.
Well, we know how talented both those guys are,
Right.
right? But from a personality perspective, which was when I said a couple of weeks ago, I don't know if I'd bring in another import. Because if they got the guys, Dribbick's playing really well. really well. They got some great, like Antonio's Cleveland Monday night was incredible. And defensively, they actually locked down the last 4 or 5 minutes, which is something they've had issues with. But he's the right. You called it. You got the right guy in, and now it's up to Adelaide, who opened up the checkbook in the off season. We all got excited about it. Did you stand up and deliver and have a real crack at this? Because there's no excuses now.
No excuses. No excuses. Now, they've still got, they're still a little sometimes stagnant offensively. It's a little bit individual, and some teams manage to slow them down. But Ian Clark adds a guy who can create off the bounce in those sort of situations and get his own shot, can facilitate. He's going to help Robert Franks. He's going to help those guys, Kai Soto inside. And also, he's all those things, but he's also a really good defender. And that's when they're at their best. We saw it last night in that win, when they lock down and they can get out and running. So they are going to have some fun from here on out.
And this traditionally happens when you have a really, a really good 6 or 7, right? Like guys, deeper players, and we've seen it with Sydney last year. Guys who traditionally don't get a lot of burn play really well. Harris was great last night. He's got a great deal of energy. Marshall, who we know is really talented, came in and played well. So you see those guys who go in and have the confidence as 8th, 9th or 10th, deep bench players actually come in and play meaningful minutes, which they did against the JJs. That's why Sydney were the champions last year. We knew how good they were. Their 5 or 6 were elite. And then guys like Sean Bruce and Glover and these guys showed that they can do it in major movements. So I like it. Congratulations to you, Liam. You're the next star GM, but now you might be the head of imports as well. All right, Santa's watching. Let's get into it, mate. Fire away with you. What is it?
Let's do it. Roll the stinger.
Stuff the
Favourite
stinger.
moment of every show. DJ Hogue, he spotted the ref in the perfect spot on the weak side there to shoot, and he threw it to him.
He should have shot it. I mean, the ref.
He should have caught it.
He should have
been the perfect pass. He put it right on the spot. Speaking of ref passes, Tal Harvey did the same, if you can believe it. The refs involved. This ref got a little too involved in Marcus Lee's butt.
Sorry, man. You're taller than I thought you were. I didn't mean to put my hand there.
Whacked him in the butt, the poor big fella. And look at the floor wiper. Really scurrying to get out of the way. Keanu Pinder bearing down. Now back to Melbourne United. Rajan Tucker hits the 3. They're all happy at Melbourne United. Keep an eye on Marcus Lee and his wedding crasher type celebration.
Oh my God.
He wanted to get involved in some of the carrying on. Got a little hot under the jacket. And I tell you, this coaching caper, man, it is thirsty work. Even after a win, CJ's taken all the camera. He's taken all of them. He's got it. It's for him and the family. And meanwhile, at the Ford factory in Cairns, it's all hands on deck.
That's how you win a championship. You buy in and you do the role on which Adam Ford has signed you at any one point. Let's go to a break. Yes or no on the other side of this. Welcome back to NBL Overtime. Hashtag NBL Overtime to get involved. It's time for yes or no. There's no stinger, so I won't even throw to it. All right. Should the NBL introduce a wildcard game? Hang on a second.
Hold on, what?
Hang on. Should we play Christmas Day? No, hang on a second. Should the NBL team, should we have one at Summer League? No, hang on.
Come on, man.
Oh, this is my ideas from 2019. My bad. Sorry.
Hold on.
I'll get
Is there
to
a
today.
chain- is there a chain there
My
on there
apologies.
somewhere? Is there
Oh,
a
you won't
chain there?
believe it. Should a next star win the Rookie of the Year? That's another one that I think I went through. Anyway, change it. All right. Is Chris Golding top 10 Aussie of all time?
Ooh.
Top 10. NBL.
Yes.
NBL, of course.
I'm going to say yes.
Ding Ding's dunk. Was that better than either of Xavier Cooks's?
No.
Did the refs over-whistle the South East Melbourne Sydney game?
No.
Should Keanu Pinder win Most Improved?
No.
What?
Will Aaron Baines play the season out?
I'm going to say no.
Show me the ladder, please. Zing it up there, because I want to ask you. You half alluded to it earlier, but are Tassie the most vulnerable team in the 6?
Where's the ladder? I mean, there's 6th
Hold on.
place.
Here-
No, they're not.
They're not?
No.
They're not?
Perth is.
Okay. There you go. I couldn't quite get the ladder up, but either way.
You don't wield that kind of power, Cam.
I don't traditionally, and turns out that I was just checking. I thought maybe at Christmas time I might have that bit of power. Turns out I don't. Keanu Pinder most certainly is the most improved player in this league. He's gone from good last year to maybe the most valuable player. Hello, Sam.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Here's your presents. I'm bringing some cash.
Oh, he's dropping pineapple. He's dropping pineapple.
Hey.
There you are.
Merry Christmas.